Hello everyone, ICSE History and Civics Class 10 classes. Welcome you all. So in this class we are going to discuss about the economic causes of First War of Independence. I already explained about political causes of War of Independence and also socio-religious causes of 1857 revolt. So you can watch in my channel. So in this class economic causes. So most commonly we people know about that. For the part of revolt of 1857, lot of different causes were there. So lot of different example political causes, socio-religious causes, even the economic causes, military causes, so different causes here. So for your exam point or board examination, each causes are very important. Again and again I'm telling you. So definitely they are going to ask question on one of the causes in your board exam. That's why you should focus on all these different causes. So we can go for first one of the economic causes. So first one is drain of wealth. So, drain of wealth, one of the most important economic cause for revolt of 1857, correct? So, what about that drain of wealth concept? Actually, drain of wealth theory has announced and given by Dadabhai Naoroji. For your MCQ main, this is very important. So, name of Dadabhai Naoroji. So, come to the part of drain of wealth. How our Indian wealth drained to England or drained to the part of the Britishers, hand of Britishers here. So, first one, British took India's wealth to England. So how they took India's wealth to England? That's one of the important thing, right? So by the part of taxes, trade profits and all, salaries of British officials. So by different ways, India's wealth drained to England here. So Britishers were imposing heavy tax on Indian goods and all, heavy taxes on the part of the Indian farmers and all. So that tax amount directly moving to the part of British government. So next one, trade profit. So they were engaging trading activities, buying raw material and selling finished British manufactured goods in India. So when they were making profit, that trade profit also moving to the part of England itself. So next one, British salaries of British officials, correct? So they are getting salary from the Indian treasury. So after that, that's reaching to the part of England itself. So salary amount sending to England. So by these ways, India's wealth completely drained to England. So next one, destruction of cottage industries. So or decay of cottage industries we are calling. So cottage industries means nothing here, handicraft industries, correct? So small industries and all. Earlier, before the entry of the Britishers, there were no huge industries or the machineries in our country actually. So Indians were completely depending on cottage industries and all, small scale industries and all. So after the entry of that Britishers, completely it causes to the decay or destruction of cottage industries. So how it causes to the destruction of cottage industries means, see that traditional Indian industries like handloom, weaving, handicraft, so these all declined. How it declined? Because of the British machine made goods. So British machinery, see, one that Britishers actually industrialization, one of the most important concept, correct? So industrialization means, what about that? So meaning of industrialization is turning from handmade goods to machine made goods, especially huge level, huge quantity of the production. So when it has introduced to our country means nothing by the Britishers here. So in one way, Indians were completely depending on the handloom, weaving and handicraft products. But at the same time, Britishers were introduced one of the huge machine made products and all machine made goods and products started to flood it to the Indian market areas. So when they started to flood it to the part of Indian markets, Indian artisans or the Indian people failed to give the competition for the British manufactured goods or machine made goods. So this also has become one of the important economic causes. So when that artisans, handicrafts and all, they lost their job or lost their employment opportunities and all, they started to become very poor. So next economic cause, heavy land revenue policies. So land revenue policies, most commonly we know that Britishers were imposing heavy taxes on Indian peasants and all. So British imposed very high taxes on the Indian farmers. Correct? So peasants were forced to pay the taxes even during the famines and crop failure. So what about this concept means that Britishers were imposed some kind of a heavy amount of the land revenues and all, tax amount and all. So most commonly we people know about that agriculture. In the part of agriculture we are not getting constant income, correct? So 1 year due to the part of drought, so farmers are not getting crops very well. In some other different years and all, due to the part of that floods, if that flood occurred, so they are also losing their crops and income. So in these all circumstances, it was compulsory to pay taxes for the British officials. So when that farmer suffered from the famines or natural calamities, it has become one of the economic burden on the Indian farmers. So when it has become economic burden, already they were suffering in the part of crop loss due to the natural calamities, correct? So they could not pay the revenue on time. So this is also one of the suffering under the British ruling, like that. So next one, exploitation of farmers, correct? This is also another one of the economic causes. See, again and again I'm telling you, in these all different causes in your textbook, actually Morning Star textbook is one of the very good publication. They mentioned exact that all the topics based on the specific syllabus. So I'm referring a lot of different publications and all, that's secondary. But as a student, you people can refer that Morning Star textbook. So this is very enough to your board examination and all. So another one of the important thing, no need to focus on that all 10 to 12 points and all. So maximum they may ask 4 to 5 points to explain in your board examination. That's why, so make perfect nearly 4 to 5 points enough. So which are the points very easy to learn, focus on that points, and which are the points are very difficult you are feeling, so you may leave that. Clear? Yes. So exploitation of farmers. So exploitation of farmers means nothing. Farmers were forced to grow cash crops. So what about that cash crops means indigo and cotton. So indigo and cotton was very important raw material for the British industries, right? That's why instead of growing food crops, it has made that Britishers made it compulsory to grow the cash crops for the industry. So reduce the food production and increase the suffering of the peasants. So peasants were totally struggling by the shortage of the food production, and also that cash crops grown means also Britishers were providing very less amount while purchasing the raw materials. So next one, unfair trade policies. So what about that trade policies? Unfair trade policies means the British encouraged imports of British goods into the India. So while restrictions on Indian products, say, what about this concept? What it represents means imports of, so British products, when they were going to, Britishers going to import that British manufactured goods from England, no? So it was totally free from the tax and all. Like the same, they restricted on the Indian manufactured goods and all. So totally Indian traders and manufacturers suffered from the huge losses. So what it represents here means encourage the British manufactured goods and discourage the selling of Indian products. So economically losses suffered or occurred to the part of Indians here. So next one, unemployment and poverty. So what about the concept of unemployment and poverty means? See, many Indians lost their traditional occupations. So what about that traditional occupations? So under the part of some of the rulers and all, or some of the dynasties, kings and all. So lot of different occupations were provided to the Indians, yeah, traditional occupations, correct? So what that all traditional occupations completely declined, ruined under the part of British ruling, like that. So British economic policies, for example, soldiers, artisans, workers, they faced the unemployment. So unemployment started to increase, means most commonly economical condition of the Indians was decreased here. And another one of the important thing we must remember here, so nobles and all, they were working under the part of royal courts, correct? So different authors, different poets and all, different nobles, ministers, so they were appointed under the part of Indian rulers royal court. So when that Britishers has taken the political system and the administration, even that people also lost their job opportunities. So next one, oppression by zamindars and moneylenders. So oppression by zamindars and moneylenders means, say, this is one of the linking concept to the natural calamities and heavy taxation. So how it has one of the linking concept means, say, farmers borrowed money to pay taxes and they often fell into debt. So what about this one? See, in one manner, one hand, that Britishers made it compulsory to pay the taxes even in the time of the failure of crops or the natural calamities. So even in the time of natural calamities, that farmers, Indian farmers, were not getting sufficient crops and incomes, but it was compulsory to pay the tax. So they found one of the alternative way to bring the money. So what about that alternative way means, they started to borrow the money from the money lenders here, loan amount. They started to take the loan from the zamindars and the money lenders here. So they were providing loan to the poor people and all. Like the same, they were imposed interest rate, high amount of interest rate. So one way they should pay the tax amount to the Britishers. In another one, another suffering or loss to the Indians means they should pay the interest rate to the zamindars and moneylenders. So totally this also one of the exploitation of poor peasants or Indian farmers. So next one, impact on common people. So how that economic policies of the Britishers impact or effect on the common people of India, correct? Yes. So the economic hardship created anger among the peasants, artisans, traders and the workers. So again and again, step by step, Britishers are completely ruining the condition, economic condition of Indians means most commonly they were started to get the angry against the British policies. So when they got anger against the Britishers, peasants, artisans or different section of Indian society, they started to raise the voice against Britishers. So that only become cause of the revolt of 1857. So totally, which were the policies become one of the reasons to decline or decrease the economical financial condition of Indians, that causes we called it as economic causes for revolt of 1857. So finally, I hope this video, this topics clearly understood for you. So please do share, subscribe for more classes and support me. So next topic I will upload in next video of mine. So thank you for watching. Thank you all.